Why is Israel insanely rich when it's always at war? Israel is one of the wealthiest countries in the Middle East, despite being embroiled in continuous regional conflicts for over 4 decades. Its remarkable economic success, with a GDP per person of approximately $52,000 in 2023, is puzzling given the typical economic toll that war takes on nations. War usually drains resources, disrupts industries, and stalls growth, yet Israel seems to defy this trend. Even as tensions with Gaza escalated, Israel's stock market rose 22%, hitting a record high. To understand how Israel has managed this, we need to look at the unique factors contributing to its prosperity and how it balances economic growth with military expenditures. U.S. support, a pillar of Israel's wealth. A significant factor in Israel's wealth is the long-standing support from the United States. Since the 1960s, the U.S. has provided Israel with over $251 billion in military and economic aid, representing a substantial portion of U.S. foreign aid. This support shields Israel from international sanctions and gives it the freedom to act in ways other nations cannot, including avoiding sanctions from the United Nations, which would otherwise be crippling. This protection allows Israel to continue its military operations without suffering from the economic consequences that usually accompany conflict. The U.S. also provides diplomatic backing, blocking resolutions that could harm Israel's economy. A war-driven economy, the role of military and technology. While war typically destroys economies, Israel has managed to turn its military challenges into economic advantages. The country's defense industry is deeply integrated into its economy, making it one of the world's leading exporters of military technology. 3 of the top 40 defense companies are based in Israel, and in 2023 alone, defense exports hit a record $113 billion. The military sector has become a significant driver of Israel's economic growth, and its technological advancements, initially created for military purposes, often spill over into civilian markets, boosting the economy. Israel's defense industry fuels growth in high-tech sectors like cybersecurity, with the cybersecurity sector alone earning over $1 billion in exports in 2023. Military-driven innovation has fostered a startup ecosystem that attracts foreign investment. The constant need for technological advancements due to security threats has created a thriving tech hub, with major companies like Intel and Google establishing research centers in the country. High-tech and human capital, Israel's competitive edge. Unlike many neighboring countries that rely on natural resources like oil, Israel focuses on human capital, skills, innovation, and entrepreneurship, making its people the country's most valuable resource. Israel invests heavily in research and development, spending about 5% of its GDP on innovation, which is double the rate of the United States. This commitment to R&D has been a key factor in Israel's transformation into a global tech powerhouse. One of Israel's most significant assets is its highly skilled workforce, a result of its mandatory military service. Nearly every Israeli serves in the army, where they gain hands-on experience with cutting-edge technologies, leadership, and teamwork. The elite units of the Israeli military, like Unit 8200, specialize in intelligence, software, and cybersecurity. The skills acquired in the army directly contribute to Israel's civilian workforce, particularly in the high-tech and cybersecurity industries. This close integration between military service and civilian life ensures that Israel has a concentrated pool of talent that fuels its economic growth. Veterans bring specialized knowledge back into the civilian workforce, which is particularly valuable in industries like cybersecurity, tech, and defense. The transition from military service to civilian employment is smooth in Israel because the society is relatively small, and the skills learned in the military are highly valued in the private sector. About 90% of Israel's high-tech workforce consists of veterans, highlighting the critical role the military plays in driving economic growth. Economic resilience. Balancing defense and development. Israel's economic resilience is built on its ability to balance military spending with investments in civilian sectors. While war and military operations strain the economy, Israel has consistently found ways to absorb these pressures and continue growing. It has also attracted significant foreign investment, partly due to its strategic location and alliance with Western countries. Israel's reputation as a stable, democratic nation in a volatile region has made it an attractive destination for international investors. In the 1990s, Israel began focusing on privatization, foreign investment, and high-tech industries, which allowed it to recover from an economic crisis and transform into a global tech hub. Attracting companies like Intel, Microsoft, and Google to set up research centers in Israel solidified the country's position as a leader in high-tech and innovation. Challenges and growing economic pressures. Despite its economic strengths, Israel faces increasing financial challenges, especially as the costs of ongoing conflicts rise. The recent war with Gaza and potential conflicts with neighboring countries like Iran and Lebanon have put significant strain on public finances. Military expenses have skyrocketed, and Israel is now spending around 10% of its GDP on defense. The budget deficit is expected to increase from 4.6% of GDP to 10%, and the national debt is projected to rise significantly over the next few years. In addition to the direct financial costs of war, the conflict has disrupted productivity in essential industries, and consumer spending has fallen. The country's GDP contracted by nearly 20% in the last quarter of 2023, and sectors like tourism, retail, and private investment have been hit hard. The economic fallout from the war is expected to reach $70 billion over the next few years, further exacerbating the pressure on the national budget. One of the significant risks Israel faces is the erosion of its social contract. For decades, the Israeli public has tolerated the burdens of conflict as long as their quality of life remains stable. However, with rising military spending and increasing economic pressures, there is a risk that this balance will be disrupted. Public dissatisfaction could grow if military spending leads to cuts in social services or living standards. Political challenges also complicate decision-making, with Prime Minister Netanyahu reluctant to reduce subsidies for ultra-Orthodox communities, a key part of his political coalition. The future. Can Israel maintain its prosperity? Israel's ability to maintain its wealth and prosperity depends on its ability to navigate these growing economic pressures. While the country has managed to weather past conflicts without major long-term economic damage, the ongoing strain from military operations, combined with the need for social and political reforms, poses significant challenges. Israel's high-tech industries, military-driven innovation, and skilled workforce continue to be the backbone of its economy, but the government faces tough decisions ahead. The ongoing conflict and the increasing cost of military operations may require unpopular measures, such as tax hikes or cuts to public services, which could strain public support. The challenge for Israel's leaders is to balance military needs with economic stability while preserving the social contract that has allowed the country to thrive despite the constant threat of conflict. Conclusion. Israel's unique combination of military-driven innovation, a highly skilled workforce, foreign investment, and U.S. support has allowed it to become one of the wealthiest countries in the Middle East, despite being in a state of near-constant conflict. However, as the economic toll of ongoing wars increases, the country will need to make difficult decisions to maintain its prosperity and balance the demands of security with the needs of its people. The future of Israel's economy will depend on its ability to adapt to these challenges and continue leveraging its strengths in technology, defense, and innovation.